Welcome back for another CBSI Hot 10 show. Make sure you go over to comicbookinvest.com and check out the article where I might put a little bit of details and tidbits that we don't actually cover here on the show tonight. And make sure you check out all the other content here on the channel. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you hit that alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And make sure you stick around after the show for the qualified, which starts immediately once we're done. But if you want to see the list this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and we will be right back.
Notable sales.
And our first book.
Some nice, very timely book. Sun Girl, #1. Nice Ken Ball cover. Nice early Stan Lee story inside. It was a reasonable sale. The auction this week had a handful of Sun Girl books. This one went for the highest for $2,400. It's a nice little jump over where it had been in the past. But if you were checking the auctions this week, you could have picked up a nice run of Sun Girl, which is a pretty sharp book.
That's an interesting pose to, fire a weapon.
Yeah, it looks uncomfortable.
Well,
Yeah. But she is beautifully mysterious, so.
Yeah, she has a bit of that Matt Baker-ish look to her.
A little boyish, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say a bit of a forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nina Savari.
Five-finger forehead.
A little bit.
No, that's like 7.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like 7.5 too. If you go back to the peak.
She got She got the arch villain arc above her eye. Yeah. Whew, not really
Being
good.
merciless.
The background's sweet though. The background's cool. Yeah.
And
Yeah, the background's cool.
it's timely. It's pre-Marvel where you're still getting Stan Lee, and you're setting an all-time high. And it's a good series. Little piece of comic.
Definitely an interesting sale. Definitely interesting, which is why it found itself here on the notable list. Like this newer book that I'm sure you all remember. Something is Killing the Children, #6. 5.
This is a book that took a huge spike during the pandemic, hitting up around $2,750. It is now, it had lows around 900 and now is going selling for back up to around 1,700. That is why it's here. It's, I don't know. At least it's taking a little bit of a bounce back. Are some of these books that did have those pandemic spikes starting to feel, the modern ones starting to feel a little bit of a bounce back? You don't see a lot of them doing it. This apparently is one that has some, I guess, lukewarm heat to it. People do enjoy this series. If nothing else, people remember this series. And I think sometimes that's all it takes for stuff to sell. Is they remember the price being around $3,000. They remember some type of news about it. And they remember that now it's $900 and they'll take a swing for it. So.
But the heat on Something is Killing the Children didn't really start to come until after issue 6, and then everyone was chasing.
Yeah.
So those first 6 issues that came out were, even though there's 8 million printings on #1, they're pretty low printings.
They still had a bunch of heat on them any way you look at them for a certain time period, and then jump back down. So. I mean, it's going to be an interesting test setter for the COVID books to see what they do going forward.
Yeah, because this thing has been seesawing for a while, but it's spiked up higher than it had for a while. So we'll see if it holds or if it takes that dip back down.
Yep.
But with that, let's get into the actual list.
#10.
With our first book, Star Wars.
Yeah, well, I'd say we've seen that A cover for High Republic Adventures #4. They're both moving. The A cover definitely moving more volume. The B cover a little more scarce. It's a little tough to find, but the B cover initially was selling at cover. Now it's starting to kind of catch up to some of those prices that the A cover was getting. You're seeing sets go for $25. B cover still $10 to $15, not bad. I like the B cover better. I think it's a sharper cover, but
it is an interesting story. Kind of, we've noted before that there is that the A covers have been doing this, where the A cover spike one day, then the B cover starts to catch up in pace. This one, however, I got to say, it's harder to find out there than it still appears to be hard to find out there, even with the increase in price. it doesn't even seem like there's a lot. There's a handful listed with higher prices than what we're seeing here for the average. So, I mean, that might have something to do with it. Dark Horse doesn't know what they're doing with Star Wars. They don't know when to FOC it. They don't know when it's coming to your shops. They've missed a couple of their series, just have been supposed to be coming out for a year and haven't come out. Does that have something to do with it? Maybe. Does it that people actually really are enjoying this Star Wars Adventures run right now currently? There is. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are enjoying it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have this on pools, and I never know when it's going to come.
Yeah, you never know what's coming in.
It shows up when it gets there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, let's get on to our next book.
Number 9.
Back on the list again. I enjoyed this I Heart Skull Crusher. This was the one per store that we had on the list last week, where it was only like 10 to 20 bucks. Now it's more like 20 to 30 this week with a high sale of $36. So this thing is kind of on the uptick. Still not a ton of volume, but it was like 10 or 12 sales, I think, on this book. And if you can find the one per store and you can get it for a better price than this, maybe think about it. Because like I said, this was a fun story. I like this. I like this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll just say because I still left out. Yeah.
I mean, it's a virgin. It's a version of the A cover, but it was probably the best cover. So
yeah,
it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think it's catching people's eye because it's a anime inspired character. Reminds me of a manga cover.
Yeah, I think
it's catching people's eye because it's a one per store. I think that's why it's catching people's eye.
Yeah,
maybe.
That too. Yeah.
Maybe. But see if it continues or if that's it.
Yeah.
But let's move on to lucky number 8.
Number 8.
Yes, Uncanny X-Men 168. Paul Smith. Madeline Pryor. If you watched X-Men 87, you know what's up. About 20 sales. Price rose to $30. CGC 9.8. Recently sold for $240. All drive by X-Men 97. If you haven't watched it yet, definitely dive into that 2-episode premiere because it was well worth the nostalgic trip.
Yeah.
They had a couple days. I don't feel bad spoiling things.
Yeah. There's a lot of these X-Men books that are related to the 97 series. A bunch of them we're starting to see gains, just small gains, not much of the notable, maybe 10, 20 sales per week, leading in the couple weeks going up to maybe $1 or $2 here. It seems like this book took a little bit bigger of a jump because of what happened.
It was sneaky. It was sneaky. I don't think we were expecting this yet.
Yeah.
In a short amount of time because it was selling for like $3-4, and then like literally
I mean, it's had one of its bigger price jumps out of the books
after the 2 episodes dropped. It was going for $30. So
depending on condition too, you got to remember you're going to see a lot of different condition.
Yes,
for some of these books. So
there's still some cheapies out
when
there.
we say we're trying to compare price to price on stuff. It's kind of hard. That's why Pete always gives that CGC 98 thing. So good stuff. Good book.
Gives you some sense of a bar, I guess, they can hit. But with that, we'll see what else X-Men has for us next week. But for now, we'll get on.
It's going to be more shirtless Gambit. Making beignets.
It wasn't shirtless. It was half.
The half shot. It's like he was getting ready for.
He took that off. He took that off to play basketball. Camp. That half shirt only lasted a little bit.
He literally said, "There's another side of Gambit," and then took his shirt off to show his muscles.
Yeah.
That was straight up from the comics, though. The whole basketball outfits. I'm telling you.
I don't
know how he wasn't getting burned from the beignet grease.
Damn donuts.
All right, let's move on to our next book.
Number 7.
Whoa, this is a rough one.
Throne Alliances, number 3, 1 in 25. The ugliest Star Wars cover ever. About 10 sales, averaging about 45, a high of 60. I right now wish there was a Star Trek book that replaced this on the list, but there isn't. This is a bad cover, but it seems like bad covers have been doing very well this year. I don't understand it. I don't get it, but to each is their own, Buy what you want.
It seems like these Thrawn covers, the ratios are doing good. I think people remember the ratios in the first series of Thrawn, And to be honest, Declan here had the not arguably, it is the worst cover in there.
It was on
but
what, number 2, right?
Yeah, it's number 2, but it's marginally less ugly than this cover, just because the characters were very small and you couldn't make them out.
I still don't know. I don't know if it was that much better.
It was.
It's still kind of rough.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm telling you, I did this already on Monday, but when I look at this, I just see the Rick and Morty characters.
Show me what you got.
That's all I see when I look at his face.
I just keep thinking of a VCR when I look at his neck. That's all I can.
I will say. Go ahead.
I was say I look at it and it looks like he got kicked in the face because it looks like a footprint on his. It's like
it's a Dr. Scholl's
forehead, like chiseled jaw.
Mm.
Looks like someone kicked him right in the face.
I will say the one thing this does
ping pong ball right there.
Okay, the one thing that this does have going for it is there is an important first appearance in here, but they did just as shitty job drawing that as they did drawing Thrawn's face on the front. So good luck with that. Good luck with it. I mean,
this is a cover to his debut album, "Don't Cry for Me, Tatooine."
All right, we got to move this one on. I can't look at that anymore.
Number 6.
Web of Spider-Man sneaking up on the list.
Yes, Web of Spider-Man, number 1 in 25. This is an interesting book because normally when you are having they're going to go through and show you what's coming up in comics. They do it through previews. Nope, Marvel decided let's do a whole one book that shows you what we have planned for the Spider-Man titles for the remainder of the year. It's about 20 sales, averaging $35 to $40, high as 60. And if you want some beautifully awful John Romita Jr. art to look at, this is the book for you. But otherwise, like I said, it's a $8 cover price book that's nothing more than just giving you a sneak peek of what Marvel has planned for all their Spider characters moving forward this year.
$8 for this?
$8. Yeah.
For the regular cover.
$8, and you get a nice couple of pages of Tombstone getting a shave by JR.
There's still, there's a bunch of these available too. I don't see this price as sticking to even the $35. It seems like this book is just, the inside's garbage.
Yeah, I think once people realize what's in the inside,
it's not that great inside.
It doesn't help.
And it seems like there's, for an $8 book, it seems like there wouldn't be as many of these available as is. And it sure does seem like there's a lot available.
It's still, again, up to the point of us doing this, it's still $35 to $40 for now. Whether that holds, who knows? That's always the case for most of these books.
You get a beautiful shot of Spider-Man with nothing but taint on it by that awesome JR.
They're all chasing Thanos, and they can't catch him. They can't catch him. From a couple weeks back, that Hildebrandt, ain't nobody beating that one.
I wonder if it'll be $8 in a week.
It may be. But for now, let's move on to our top half.
Number 5.
What an IG post can do.
Strange Adventures. Dead Man. We got a little bit sweet Dead Man on the cover. This book, because of Gunn, put a little post with a dead man on it. I think there's a lot of excitement too. We were always promised the Dark Adventures. This character has gained even more popularity than he had before.
Justice League Dark.
Justice League Dark. What did I say? Dark Avengers.
Avengers.
Carry on.
Justice League Dark. This character has become more and more popular over the last couple of years because of those rumors and the fact that Neil Adams had a big part in developing this character, and he passed away. You've seen the book go up, but this
not
book is
this one.
Not as far as it has now. What?
Neil Adams, he didn't have to do with this one.
Yes. Yeah. But you saw this this book increase 9.0. Highest it has $3,000 and over a dozen sales. It's a more expensive book, so you're not going to see tons of sales with this book like you would a more of a modern thing. However, still getting. I just wonder what that post is about. I wonder what that post is about. Does anybody think it's about nothing at all?
It
like
could
over
be,
or
could
under?
not be.
I think it's about nothing.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's just trolling at this point.
Is that what it's going to be? Is it like every month or so we're just gonna, like, whenever somebody drops, because there's a lot of cool stuff that dropped this week in trailers, new shows, and everything else. You think just to keep the attention going, he's just going to keep dropping random stuff?
Yeah, because he
And
gets
eventually it'll wear off. Then
he gets a big reaction out of everyone the minute he does. Like the comic book community, especially, he could post a picture of a burrito with a Batman symbol, and people would go nuts for it.
Agreed.
So.
I don't think it will. I don't think Peter will wear out. I think this will continue going. You know, I think one thing, DC fans have been excited for anything at all. So you'll get it. I mean, you'll get that group right off the bat. And then everybody else, every time there's a lot of Guns fans.
There's no reason for him to screw people around, though. I mean, maybe he doesn't have a major thing planned for Devin. There has to be something somewhere in the queue in his brain for Deadman. Because why be a jerk and just
is he being a jerk though? I mean, people are gonna put all types of rumors out anyways. So,
but it's James Gunn.
So James Gunn can only post what he's going to be working on.
Well, I think he understands that if he puts something out like what he put out, there's certain expectations that people have, and he has a higher responsibility as overseeing.
I don't know if he's got a higher responsibility. I also think that if he doesn't put out anything, people are going to make stuff up anyways.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But
he has to debunk stuff every day.
But Chode's put out stuff all the time, and nobody cares. Well, some people might, but it's randos put stuff out.
And he was Deadman was the focus of Night Terrors last year, which he hasn't had a story in years.
Yeah.
True.
So I don't know. It's fun. Whatever. It's a good book. At least he's not putting out crap books.
I smell Peacemaker season 2.
Let's go.
With a Deadman poster.
You could always have you could always have a Deadman cameo show up somewhere in one of these
Peacemaker buddy cop episode.
You remember when
dude, what if Peacemaker's reading a Deadman book?
Oh, that'd be funny.
I mean, realistically, the Creature Commando show is probably a natural fit for him to kind of that animated show somewhere. But with that said, let's keep it rolling.
Number 4.
And I like this cover, but it's a 1 in 100.
Yeah, Takashi Okazaki. Star Wars Visions. People enjoy the kind of Star Wars Elseworlds with Visions. At 1 in 100. I mean, it's averaging 150 out of the gate, 190. You get another Ronin story, so people are digging it. We'll see if these keep coming.
To be fair, there's only a few copies.
1 in 100. There's never.
So there was a pre-dress. There was actually some higher pre-sales the week leading up to this too. There's just not it's a 1 in 100. It's a higher one than Star Wars usually has for selling for their highs. Usually the highs on these things are only about 140, 160. This one's obviously at 190 for the high. It had the preceding week going into great sales, a couple great sales week of. It's a popular. This version, this character in this version is very popular, and he's very popular
favorite.
And it is. I mean, this is also the A cover, right? This is just
This is just without the trade dress, and I mean, if you look at the first time when he did the first series on this, it did very well. The Momoka did not do so well, and I think a lot of people were anticipating this coming back. If you've read this already, it's what you wanted. It's wanted.
It's fun. It's you're getting some fun little stories, something different. It's always nice to see Star Wars do something different. So,
I loved it.
With my cover A though. I'm happy with my.
What was that, man?
I said I loved it. Like I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I jumped at the chance to buy this book and loved it. I love the art in it. I wish it was a bi-weekly or monthly title instead of just self-contained one-shots.
Quarterly, yeah.
It's a nice change of pace in the Star Wars universe, getting away from the Skywalker saga or whatever Dark Horse is doing whenever they decide to put Star Wars stuff out.
Right.
So,
well, we'll see if we get a fun second print as well. Like they did last. Well, they did that with Visions the first time. They did a pretty nice second print.
They did with Kamimoka too, which sucked, but
but with the first one it was nice.
I will say what Matt. I've heard a lot what Matt's saying from a bunch of other people, including with the High Republic stuff. Is like it's just different Star Wars, and that's all they're looking for at this point. The regular Star Wars stuff that they keep rehashing seems to be getting a little bit stale. But the newer stuff like this, when they go out there, take a little, and not all of it hits. Not all of it does hit, but this has seemed to do pretty well. Obviously, as we said, the Momoka stuff did not.
It's also nice that somebody who's not a Star Wars fan could pick it up and
Yeah,
not have to know
agreed.
anything
Yeah, get
about
a
Star
story.
Wars and just read some stories.
Yeah, but
All right. Well, let's take it to our top 3.
Number 3.
Not to be outdone with rumors and what have you.
Well, if you're looking for Dick Ryder, it's right here in Nova number 1 because of
did you just hear
rumors.
Yes, he did.
You just
Because
hear Dick Ryder.
Rumors of
Jesus.
Nova
man's
getting his
name.
own series is back.
They're
in the
back.
news,
Yes,
back
rumors
in
are
the rumors. Nearly 30 sales. A CGC 9.6, sold $300 plus, up from 240 last week. And yes, I did say Dick Ryder.
No, I've
That's his
heard that,
name.
but if you hear what you said, you pretty much called yourself a Dick Rider, which I've heard the joke told a bunch of times, but nobody ever called themselves one. Well, this is a cool book. It's good. It's going again. Nice.
There ain't no shame in Brucifer's game.
Yeah, it seems like every 6 months we
It's only shame on Tuesdays.
every 6 months we get a Nova's coming and bump on this book.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
important thing. The important thing is I want to see this. I honestly want a Nova series. So quit teasing me. Quit
No,
with the
I think,
rumors.
yeah.
Let me get this.
Dick
It would-
Ryder is coming.
Don't you think like 3 or 4 season series with this, doing a little Space Odyssey type thing, having him do even running into Sam, it would be, nothing too serious, almost like just mind-numbingly, like just fun little space jaunts would be
Yeah,
an
I
okay
just
thing
want
to do.
more cosmic stuff. But
Punch a
give me-
Kang in the face every once in a while, or in the
Yeah,
dick, or Rider.
Everyone has their
whatever.
love. Some people love street level, some people love cosmic, and
Dude, I love the karate kick to his face.
let them.
Oh, I want it all. I want them to separate things. I don't want everything have to be mashed
Don't they
together.
have to? They have
I
to
agree.
finish the multiverse story, which finishes in.
You don't have to finish
2027 or
that.
something?
You don't
No,
have to
no,
do that. No, you don't got to do that. You don't got to do that. No,
10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
you don't have to do that, Bruce. No, sir, you do
No,
not.
you don't have to finish.
I thought that was the plan.
I get what you're saying, but no. The answer is
No, it's
no,
not
you
like
don't.
you don't have to wrap up the hockey playoffs before the NBA can start theirs. You can do more than one sport at one time. You can tell more than one story at one time.
You really
Have
want to
you
wait
met-
for
have you
Ant-Man
met
6?
Iger? Have you met Iger? No.
Man,
Budgets, no.
well,
Yeah.
well, that's
still
surprising
like
that
that he's
rumors
kicking
coming back
Kang right
then
in the face.
because this doesn't
Yeah.
sound like it would be a cheap show.
No, it's not.
No.
But I still want it.
Get those She-Hulk VFX effects in this.
No,
Yeah, I don't think we need
No.
that. No.
but all right, let's move on.
Number 2.
Getting back to it.
Oh, number 2. Is it Sinister's not cameo, not first full appearance because he's not on the cover, but it's definitely his first appearance? Uncanny X-Men 221. Obviously, there's a couple Sinister things going on here. X-Men 97 has given us all the warm and fuzzies again of our youth, for all those youths out there. And then number 2 is that there's actually a rumor of the live action version of this. Both are hitting home. And obviously, he's a key character in the terrible X-Men run right now, where there's 16 versions of him, including Gold Balls, Sinister Gold Balls. Whoever came up with that idea just needs to stop. But yeah, Sinister's everywhere. So apparently the book's starting to take a couple price hikes, but in specific categories. The Mark Jeweller's Raw. So, yeah. Well, specific, oddball, whatever, whichever. I don't like to discriminate like that, Pete. You know what I mean? Mark Jeweller's Raw sold for $160. How's that working?
It's working out great.
Mark Jeweller's Raw sold for $160. CGC 98 newsstand sold for between $850 and $900. There's always about 20 to 30 sales of this, so there you go. Maybe a little bit of a hook.
This is a consistent mover. It's always.
It has been, yeah.
It's always.
Man, Havoc's really putting a lot of hip power into that pulsation.
Power thrust.
Yeah, that's something.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, with that, we've got one left. So let's see what our top book is.
And our number 1.
Our number 1 with his sleeveless tee. Magneto on Uncanny X-Men 200. If you've been watching X-Men 97, you saw they already kind of quickly adapted this story a little bit. And we got not only the purple suit back, but we did get a little bit of that trial of Magneto, which caused a lot of people to go back to get this very cheap book. This book has been cheap for ages. It's been like $5 or less. But this week started to hit 15 to 20 bucks. A bunch of sales. CGC 9/8 are back up to 160, where these things were down to like 80 bucks not that long ago. So it's a nice little return, a little return on investment, I guess, for people who are big fans of Magneto's purple jumpsuit.
Sun's out, guns out.
You know, it is what it is.
The sun was not out.
Happy
Though.
to have that series. X-Men 97, I think, has been a hit.
I still say he looks like Granny Goodness.
I would suggest if you go to court, please wear something with maybe sleeves and maybe a button up. Maybe a button up. Just something you can tuck into your
shoes
pants.
on.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, unless you're in Florida, anything goes in Florida. Anything goes in Florida. So you can do whatever you want there. Does anybody else find it very interesting that an animated series is making books kind of move like this? Like we've seen every single book across the line at least has had some form of race connected to the X-Men series. Some obviously we have 3 on this list that have had higher jumps than the rest of them, but every single one over the last 2 weeks leading up to it or this week have had incremental increases on it. And it's kind of a cool thing because not a lot of them are that expensive. Like a $5 book, as Matt was talking about, the Madeline Pryor book that he was talking about. That was Matt, a $3 book?
Yeah, it's like a $4 to $5 book, just
depending on condition, anywhere from $3 to $6. I mean, so these are very accessible books that, once again, this is fun. A lot having stuff on a list where you can actually the week of go out there and hunt for them, grab them real quickly, cheaply, and get them. Like what's the worst that's going to happen? This is going to go back to what, a $5 book?
Yeah.
No, I don't understand why he needs a monogram shirt.
So you know who he is.
Yeah,
you should know who he is.
And so he doesn't forget who he is on the inside. Right?
Yeah, and
his arms are disproportionate.
Not even all the books. Some of the X-Men books didn't quite make the list.
Yeah,
and if you guys stick around,
oh shoot, I shouldn't say that because I forget there's an OLI. Yeah,
there is an OLI, and there might be a couple extras that even just missed out on this list. So make sure you stick around for that because the boys are going to cover it as soon as we're done.
Get a little spicy tonight.
Yeah, what else are you guys doing?
Nice little new artist spotlight. Jasmine Darnell, Sonia Mattis, and of course,
Okazaki.
See our Japanese friend again and some of his other works that you might not be familiar with.
Cool. So make sure you guys all stick around for that, and we'll be back next week with a brand new list. So see you guys all later.
Later.